Hello, happy Wednesday again. We are back with chapter 16 of our book study. Ezra's not sleeping yet. I usually try and do it once he's laid down, but his naps are so off schedule recently, so it's been a little difficult to stay keeping him sleeping while I'm trying to do this. So we might have interruptions. It's just part of life here, so we're just going to roll with it, and hopefully you guys learn something from this. Hopefully it's encouraging to you, but I decided to just do chapter 16 all by itself. I think it's a really important chapter, and as I'm rereading it, I was talking with Nathan yesterday, and I'm like, this is something I'm really struggling with, and so I think that it's just better to instead of trying to gloss over it, just spend the time on this one chapter and allow you to take from it what you want, and then next week we'll go into chapter 17. But I didn't want it to get bogged down with trying to combine the two chapters because chapter 17 is pretty long. So I'm just gonna do one. I have 3 pages of notes, that's it, so hopefully this will be quick, and then you guys can get on with your day. But starting in chapter 16, so I titled this What's Your Why? And I think that is something that I never really heard before I got into the industry that I'm in. And I never really understood okay, but my why is my family. But why is that so important? You have to get really specific why it's so important. And so the title that she has in the chapter is Know Your Why, Then Fly Girl, Fly. And so she starts out page 216. She says, have you ever felt like you're supposed to be doing something, but no one else seems to agree with you? Or no matter how hard you try to manifest it, it's just not happening. Maybe you courageously put your gifts, talents, product, or ideas into the world and they were not embraced. When this happens, it becomes easy to quit, to use it as proof that we don't have what it takes, and it can quickly turn into we're not worthy of it as a core belief. And that right there was so powerful to me because that's exactly what I'm struggling with right now. I'm I know I'm where I'm supposed to be. I have this strong feeling every time I pray about it, every time I meditate on it, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be, yet this is exactly what I'm struggling with. And it's I'm not getting farther ahead. I feel like I'm spinning my wheels and putting in the work and nothing's coming of it. And I'm building these friendships and I'm, putting myself out there and I'm growing and I'm learning and I'm doing all the things that I feel like I need to do, yet there's no results. And so I'm right here. I'm resonating with her. This chapter is for me. Maybe it's for you too, and you can relate. But she says it's easy for it to quickly turn into we're not worthy of what we're going after. And that to me, this book has helped so much with, because I truly believe it. I truly believe I'm worthy of it. I truly believe that it will come, but it's frustrating. And in the moment, it's hard. And so facing that head on and acknowledging it and then saying, okay, what can I do? Or I need to keep going. Maybe it's just time. Maybe this isn't God's timing for me. Maybe he's teaching me something in this down season, and embrace it and not let myself get caught up in, I'm not seeing the results I want. I'm not seeing the progress. I'm not seeing all the things that I've been, manifesting. I have my, over here, I have my little, here, I'll show you, my dream board. And we've talked about that in the past, have a dream board. I have my journal next to me and my gratitude journal. And it's I have all the right things, but yet I can't make it come. And so it's just the waiting season. So she goes into, after facing hundreds of rejections, so again, she's the founder of It Cosmetics, and so when she first founded it, she would, set up these meetings and she'll introduce her products to people and they'd say no, this isn't for us, this isn't for our customers, we don't want what you have to offer. So she said after facing hundreds of rejections from companies about putting her products in their store, she started to question her mission and calling. She knew this is what she was called to, because she always got clarity when she'd sit still, pray, and meditate. One day she wrote in her journal, know your why, then fly, girl, fly. And she said, I continued to read that until I no longer needed that reminder every single day. And she's to me, this was way bigger than me. This was about all the people that I was serving, all of the women who were self-conscious about their skin, who were self-conscious about how they look, their weight, their, size, their whatever it is. This was about them. This was about them feeling beautiful in the exact person that they were created to be, and knowing that they are cherished, knowing that they were created in God's image. This was my mission. This was my why. And she's like, and I had to remind myself, I know my why, and I just have to keep pushing. I have to keep going towards it, because this is bigger than me. This is way bigger than just, being successful and having all of my dreams manifested come true. This is about all of those people waiting on the other side of my obedience. We've talked about that before, that I'm going to impact if I keep pursuing my mission. So on page 216, my why for my dream at the time was so much bigger than myself. Why I was doing it mattered so much more to me than how hard and how much it was to do. So what is your why? And breaking this down, how do you figure out what your why is? So page 217, when you attach a deep, powerful meaning for your why to every goal and dream, doing this, it makes it a lot more likely that you will achieve whatever your goal is. And so you attach that deep meaning to it. So again, get really specific what your why is. Why is this important? And dig down deep. Don't, for me, I'm well, my family. I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this because I want to, set up our financial future so we can give our kids the things that maybe we didn't have growing up, or so we can give them the life that they deserve, the life that they want. And, if they want to go to college, that they're not going into debt over it, or if they want to start a business, we have options for that. But it even gets deeper than that. What specifically for me? And when I think about it, I'm well, I want my kids to know that when they pursue something, that they're able to chase after it without fear of rejection, without fear of not going after what everyone else is telling them to do. And so getting really specific with that. On your path of learning to believe you're enough and you're truly worthy, it's so important to carve out time and truly understand your deeply personal why for wanting to believe it. Knowing your why becomes wind beneath your wings. Then on page 18 or 218, she continues, when you have a big goal or dream or vision for your life, it's almost never enough just to know with clarity what it is, or even to take action going after it. Identifying your why is an important secret ingredient that makes the dream much more likely to actually happen. Your why is your deeply personal reason for doing what you're doing, your reason for wanting what you're wanting. Your why gives you the meaning and purpose that acts like fuel. So your why is going to be your driving factor. Your why is going to remind you that in the most difficult moments of what you're doing, exactly the purpose you're doing it for, whether it's your family, whether it's for you, whether it's a better life, whether it's to get out of a circumstance that you're in, whether it's to pay off debt, whatever it is, your why is going to drive you there. Your why is going to be the thing that keeps you going in all the hard days. On page 218, she says, with a clear vision of where we're going and why, it's so much easier to quit along the way or never embark on it at all. So without that clear vision of knowing where we're going, it's easier to quit because we don't have it in the forefront of our mind. We're not thinking about the fact that I'm doing this for whatever reason. I'm doing this for a specific reason, whether it's my family, my kids, myself, whatever it is. If we're not keeping that in the forefront of our minds, then it's easier for us to quit, and it's easier for us to not start at all because we don't have that attachment to it. There's not that purpose that's driving us, that's fueling our everyday actions. So knowing how to do something is rarely enough. You need to identify a meaningful enough reason why it must happen. Not should, but absolutely must. Your why can be the fuel that keeps you motivated and inspired when you're feeling discouraged. And then she continues, page 219. We need vision to maintain hope, and your why acts as your vision. So again, I showed you my vision board right here. This is my vision. It doesn't make sense to most people. I have it hanging next to my desk in my office, and I look at it and I'm that's what I'm working towards. All of those little things on that vision board, that's what I'm working towards every single day. when I put myself out there, when I get out of my comfort zone, I'm doing it for all of those reasons. And yes, I'm doing it for my kids because I want them to see that, like, you can set your mind to something and it can be hard and it can be something that is way outside the norm that people will look at and say, why are you doing this? Like, why don't you just give up already? But yet that why is what is my driving factor. And when I sit down and I'm like, oh, I'm so frustrated, like I was telling my husband that yesterday, I'm so frustrated because I feel like I'm spinning my wheels. I feel like I'm doing all the right things, and yet I'm in the same place. I haven't grown. And I was like, then I have to look at it and I have to like redirect my thoughts, and I have to change that meaning. And I have to say, I have grown. I just haven't grown in the ways I thought I would have grown by now. I've grown personally. I've grown in my learning. I've grown in my actions. I've grown so much. So this is just another piece of the puzzle. This is something that my actions will reap rewards. I just have to wait for God's timing and for him to bless in the seasons. So she says, what is your true deep why for your greatest hopes and wildest dreams? And this is something that I encourage all of you to sit down and really think about. Spend time in prayer, spend time meditating, write it down, make a vision board, whatever it is. But it's so important to narrow this down and to figure it out. She says maybe it's to break generational cycles, maybe to help others see and believe they're worthy. Maybe it's to inspire others to live truly and authentically as themselves. Maybe it's to show your kids resilience and confidence so they see their worth too. And so then she goes into manifesting your why on page 220. And so this is, you have your deep-rooted meaning. Now, how do we go about it? And she says, well, writing in my gratitude journal every day, I also write out my goals as if they've already happened and are true. So I think we talked about this in a previous book study, but just reiterating the fact that speak as though things have already come. So she gives the example, instead of writing in my journal, I'm going to learn to prioritize rest. She writes, I prioritize rest well. And she's like, and I give myself that mindset shift of, it's already coming. Like, I already do this so well. And she's like, because when I write it, and she says this, page 220, writing them as if they've already happened helps wire your brain and body to believe they will happen. So it's not just like a dream. It's not just a hope. It's something that is going to happen because you're speaking that truth to yourself and you're putting it out there and you're saying, no, it's not that I want to do this well. It's that I do it well. It's that I am successful. It's that I am, pursuing my passions. It's that I am, kind to my family, and I'm loving and I'm helpful and I'm serving others. Whatever it is for you, write it out as though it happens, even though it's something you're still working on. Write it as if it's truth right now. She says then next to each goal, she lists the specific and meaningful why next to it. So what is her attachment to this thing? Why does she have to manifest this? Why does it have to be true for her? And she says doing this, when you attach a meaning to it and an emotion to something you want, it's now no longer just a thought in your head. It's something you feel and connect with in your body. So it's no longer just, well, I really want this to happen. Now it's like, why does it absolutely have to happen? Why do I have to make this reality? Why am I working so hard towards this thing that I feel like I'm never going to grasp? And she says, because you have that deep connection. You have that connection with it. When you write it down and you put it in your journal, put a date next to it, write your why next to it, and leave it there. Speak it into truth and allow yourself to truly believe it, and remember, like, you're not just writing it and forgetting. You have to go back to it and maybe continue doing that each day. We talked about habits before. Make it a habit. So write your things out every single day and say, these are my things that I want to come to light. These are the goals I'm working towards, the aspirations that I have. And then put the date next to it. And every single day say it to yourself as if it's already happening. And then every time you do that, you're believing it more and more and more. And like, I put affirmations on my mirror, I put them on my husband's mirror, and I even get to have the conversations with my kids of like, why are these there? What am I doing when I'm saying these things? Or when I read them every single day, why is it important? And my 8-year-old, she asks all of the questions, so she's so curious about everything. And so I got to tell her, I'm like, well, these are things that I'm working towards, and I really want them to happen. And so I'm going to write them. I'm going to put a sticky note on my mirror, and I'm going to look at it every single day, and I'm going to say it every single day when I'm getting ready, because I truly believe that manifesting that and saying it every single day, it allows me to believe what I'm saying is going to happen. It allows me to see that truth, and it allows me to work towards it every single day, even in the days where I get discouraged and things are hard and I'm like, I'm spinning my wheels. What am I doing wrong? What am I not doing right? Like, there's something missing. There's a piece of the puzzle that I have to figure out. And like, I am a, Enneagram 5, like researcher by nature. I have to know all the facts. I'm a perfectionist. And so just doing things imperfectly is super hard for me, but it has really helped me, this, business that I'm in, to be able to like get out of my comfort zone and do things imperfectly, and looking at that and saying, yeah, these are my goals and I'm not there yet. And that's hard for me to admit. Like, as a perfectionist, like I usually don't say things until I know they're happening because I don't want to be wrong. So now I'm saying them and I'm putting out there, on my mirror for everyone to see, but that's the growth. That's the season of growing. And, who knows what's going to happen in the future. Maybe I won't hit the goals for another 3 years. It doesn't matter. The personal growth that I've had and the truth that I believe that like these things will come, or maybe God will use it for something different. Maybe he's growing me for a different purpose. But all of that is just manifesting like your why and why you're doing it and believing it to be true. So this was a short chapter, but I didn't want to like gloss over it. I wanted it to like really like resonate with you and just kind of sit on it and think about it. And so a short week, but next week is chapter 17. I already started my notes for that. It's a longer chapter. And then we only have like 8 chapters left, I think. So this book has been encouraging. I hope this chapter was encouraging to you. Please don't just like learn the things and not put them to action. Go and get quiet, pray, meditate, and figure out your why if you don't. And allow yourself to dream really big and allow yourself to attach that meaning to it and give you a purpose for chasing after the things that you want. So I hope you guys have a good Wednesday. I'm going to go start school with the kids, hopefully get Ezra down for a nap, and then we have a busy rest of the day. So I hope you guys have a great week. I will see you guys next week.